Wind down with today's top tech stories. This is the Daily Byte. Senator wants data centers to pay for job losses. Senator Mark Warner from Virginia has a, let's say, creative solution to AI job displacement concerns. Speaking at the Axios AI Summit in Washington, he proposed taxing data centers as a way to address the growing fears about AI automation wiping out jobs. He literally called it a pound of flesh from data centers. There's definitely a growing backlash against these massive data center operations, and it's fueled by very real concerns about employment. Warner's thinking seems to be, if data centers are powering the AI that might eliminate jobs, they should contribute to workforce transition programs or social safety nets. Whether this is practical policy or just political posturing remains to be seen. But it shows that lawmakers are actively looking for ways to address the economic disruption AI might bring, and they're considering some pretty direct approaches. Meta's AI acquisition hits a Chinese roadblock. Meta just ran into a pretty significant problem with one of its biggest deals. The company is trying to acquire Manus, a Singapore-based AI startup, for somewhere between $2 and $2.5 billion. But China has literally barred the two co-founders from leaving the country while authorities conduct their regulatory review. Yeah, they can't leave. This is China flexing its regulatory muscle and sending a pretty clear message about scrutiny on major tech and AI deals involving foreign companies, especially American ones. It demonstrates how willing Chinese authorities are to use, let's call them aggressive measures, to enforce compliance during these reviews. For Meta, this deal is now in serious limbo, and those executives are stuck waiting to see if Chinese regulators will even allow this acquisition to go through. AI power users are leaving everyone behind. Anthropic just dropped some research that should honestly make a lot of people nervous. They found that AI isn't replacing jobs yet, but there's a massive skills gap forming between people who know how to use these tools and people who don't. The power users, the folks who've spent time learning how to work with AI effectively, they're pulling way ahead. We're talking about a real competitive advantage here, and it's creating some serious concerns about workplace inequality. The takeaway? If you've been putting off learning how to use AI tools properly, now would be a really good time to start. This gap is only going to get wider, and companies are definitely noticing who's keeping up and who isn't. Supreme Court says ISPs are off the hook for piracy. The Supreme Court just handed down a unanimous decision that internet service providers cannot be held liable for piracy committed by their users. Think about it this way. You wouldn't sue the phone company because someone made an illegal call, right? Same principle here. ISPs don't have to monitor what you're doing online or police how you use their service. This is huge for internet providers because it removes a massive compliance burden they could have faced. The music industry was pushing hard to hold ISPs accountable for facilitating copyright infringement, but the court said no. For us regular internet users, this means your ISP isn't going to become the copyright police, which is honestly a relief. An EV startup is now building hybrid ambulances. Harbinger, a California-based EV trucking startup, just partnered with Fraser, a 70-year-old vehicle manufacturer, to build hybrid ambulances and mobile healthcare vehicles. Harbinger's been making hybrid powertrains for RVs, FedEx vans, and box trucks, but emergency vehicles, that's a whole new category. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. Ambulances need to be incredibly reliable. They idle for long periods, and fuel efficiency matters when you're running 24/7 operations. The hybrid platform gives you that reliability, plus better operational efficiency. This shows how hybrid technology is spreading beyond just consumer EVs and delivery trucks into these really specialized, mission-critical applications where performance absolutely cannot fail. This one's fascinating if you're into the business side of AI. Turns out those final training runs for the big models you actually see released, they're only a tiny fraction of what AI companies spend on compute. OpenAI only allocated 9.6% of its R&D compute to final training runs. ZAI was at 22.6%, Minimax even lower. OpenAI spent roughly $7 billion on compute last year, and the vast majority went to experimentation, iteration, and development, not production model training. Think of it like this. For every dollar spent on the model you use, $9 went into experiments, failed attempts, and research you'll never see. This really highlights how research-heavy this field is. These companies are investing absolutely massive amounts into exploration and optimization that never makes it into a released product. Is this information helpful? Let me know in the comments. Tap like, hit subscribe, and share with a friend. It really helps the channel. See you in the next edition of the Daily Byte.